KVK started a week ago, and I have been barbing. What's up everybody, it's Ploto Gaming here, and today's video is a long-awaited part 2 of a previous video. What do you actually get from barb chaining? In that video, I chained for about an hour and kind of gave a summary of what I was able to chain. This video is going to be about me barb chaining for a week. It isn't a week straight, more so I think it's a realistic expectation of what I usually get from barbing week to week. We're going to be using Cubist Mike's program, which compiles the mail reports so that we can see a clear indication of what we've been getting with the crystals, speed ups, materials, and all that kind of stuff. So shout out to Cubist Mike for the program. His Discord link will be in the description below. And for context, we are still in Zone 4, so all of these are going to be Zone 4 barbarians. Alright, let's get into it. One of the most commonly asked questions during these barb chaining streams is what are the best pairs to barb chain with? There are two main things in my opinion that you need in a barb chaining pair. The first thing that is crucial is AoE, and second is some form of sustainability, specifically some healing or shielding that allows you to keep out in the open field. There are also two categories that I feel like are nice to have, which is the inside talent, which allows you to use less AP, being a cav commander, which allows you to roam around the map faster and makes it easier to chain. So I'll be breaking it down on the best pair, then splitting up that pair into 2 pairs, and then 3 pairs, and then 4 pairs. I didn't really barb chain with 5 pairs so far this KVK, and I've just been using 4, but I can also show a potential 5th pair if you really want to go that far with your barb chaining. So the first pair is actually Zhuge Liang with Richard. Zhuge Liang is a very good barb chaining commander. He has a ton of AoE damage, and more importantly he has a circle AoE so that he is really easy to barb chain with. One of the great things about Zhuge Liang, especially if you have extra talent resets, is he has the versatility tree, which allows you to save 10 AP every hit. This is the tree from the Peacekeeping Commander tree, so he's essentially a Peacekeeper in terms of how much AP he uses. You know, over the course of a KVK, saving 10 AP per barb hit really does stack up, so Zhuge Liang with Richard in the backline giving that tankiness, his healing factor allows for Zhuge Liang Richard to stay out indefinitely, AoEing and chaining barbs with ease. For 2 pairs, I would stick with the Zhuge Liang with Richard and add Huoqibing with Heraclius. Huoqibing does a ton of damage, also being a cav commander allows you to walk around in the open field, making it easier to chain barbarians. One thing about Huoqibing is you heal a ton out in the open field, allowing you to stay out for longer. Pairing Huoqibing with Heraclius, who has the circle AoE as well as a shielding factor, Huoqibing with Heraclius could stay out in the open field for as long as possible and could actually go to barbarian super fast because of Huoqibing being a cavalry commander. This is definitely a really good pair, and I still haven't brought him home ever since I started using him. For 3 chaining marches, we're going to be separating the Zhuge Liang with Richard and pairing Zhuge Liang with primary with Boudica Prime secondary. Zhuge Liang Boudica Prime stays out for the open field pretty decently, Boudica Prime giving healing factor as well. Zhuge Liang still with the circle AoE and the versatility tree allows you to stay out there for a decent amount of time. Richard will then be paired with the old classic YSG. Richard YSG being the KVK1 barb chaining march. YSG does similar things to Zhuge Liang. He doesn't have the versatility tree, but still a circle AoE and still does a lot of damage. For the 4th pair, we're going to be using Double C with Theodora. Double C Theodora doesn't last in the open field that long, but because Double C is super speedy, you could bring him back and forth from your base and not feel too bad about it because of him being a Peacekeeping Commander having the insight tree. So Double C giving the healing factor, giving the speed, and Theodora giving that circle AoE, allowing you to barb chain with relative ease, and then you can refresh your marches when you get low. The final barb chaining pair that I used to use when I 5 marched, I haven't used it yet this KVK though, is Charles Martel with Cyrus. People don't know that you can actually chain with Cyrus, as his fourth skill acts as an AoE skill. So Cyrus gives the AoE, Charles Martel gives the tankiness. It is a very slow chain, but nevertheless, you are able to chain with this. I was also told Lapu Lapu is a potential barb chaining commander because he has a circle AoE, but unfortunately I do not have Lapu Lapu unlocked, so I cannot recommend this because I don't have him, but he does seem to have a lot of damage factor and would definitely replace Cyrus. Honestly, I didn't optimize my gear and my talent trees. I just kind of used whatever talent trees and gears is meta for those marches. Just slammed my best legendary sets on my barb chaining marches. So nothing special there. And as for the time spent, I probably spent about 5 hours a day within the past week barb chaining. A lot of it was streamed. But yeah, that should be it for the context, the marches I used and what they were using, as well as the amount of time that I spent barb chaining. Now it's time for the grand reveal. What did I get from barb chaining in the first week of KVK? So over the course of a week, I killed around 5.4k barbs, gaining 2.5 million crystals. 2.5 million crystals is essentially around a bit more than I believe 2 Conqueror's Wills, the daily bundles for crystals, and it definitely helped me get early crystal tech. I was also able to get 7.8k gems and get 80,000 minutes of training speeds, which equates to around 56 days worth of training speeds. I got 26.5k universals, which equals around 19 days of universals. And finally, as for materials, I gained around 10 legendary materials from chaining. As for honor points, I was around top 5 at, I believe, 60-ish k honor points. But yeah, chaining gets you a ton of stuff. I think it's really interesting to see exactly what it gets you.